Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Emily Echeverria. First today, we're discussing the signs, screenings, and treatments for osteoporosis. Next, we're staying ready for storm season and beyond with Florida Power and Light. Finally, we're heading back to the ballot box with important voting information ahead of upcoming elections. Stay with us. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active and connected to community can sometimes become more challenging. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's broad range of home and community-based services, you can stay healthy, independent, and engaged in life. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, we provide the support and connection you need to age your way. Aging is a unique journey for everyone, and we're here to help you meet your needs and thrive while preserving what makes you, you. Since 1972, we've been a trusted advocate for elders and a support system for those who care for them. Now, let's dive into the age-related issues that matter most to you. Osteoporosis is a silent disease that weakens bones, making them fragile and susceptible to fractures, especially in older adults. Here to talk to us more about the signs, symptoms, and treatment of osteoporosis is Dr. Brian Steiner, a primary care physician with Baptist Medical Group Primary Care, Live Oak. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So, how would someone know that they have osteoporosis if they feel fine? Are there any warning signs?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult actually with osteoporosis because oftentimes, because it is coined as a silent disease, you're not going to really notice when you have it. Often, some things you can look out for that are pretty subtle. As you age, you can lose maybe an inch, inch and a half in height. Sometimes you can have chronic back pain from osteoporosis if your bones already have fractures in them. But oftentimes it's very hard to find before you develop it.
And what happens if someone is diagnosed with osteoporosis? Are there effective treatments?
Oh, absolutely, there are effective treatments. Usually the treatments go one of two ways. Either we're going to start you on a medication that slows down your bone loss, or if you're at a higher risk, we'll start you on a medication that helps build your bones a little bit stronger, almost like getting your bones to a stronger state before slowing down the bone loss. So the slowing down of bone loss medication, Prolia, is a very good option. It's an infusion that you get every 6 months. And for the building bones medications, the anabolics, Evenity is a good option for that, and usually you do that once a month for 12 months.
And does osteoporosis only affect older women, or does it affect men as well?
It absolutely affects men. It's much more prevalent, much more common in women, but in men it can be as common as 1 in 5 to 1 in 7 men over the age of 65 or 70. With men, oftentimes there's a big gap in care because they're not often diagnosed at the same rate, and they're not treated at the same rate that women are because there's not really any universal screening guidelines for men.
And are there screening guidelines for women? How much more does it affect women than men?
In women, I believe the statistic is it's 1 in 3 women will experience either osteopenia or osteoporosis in their lifetime. And once you reach the age of 65, then it's highly recommended to undergo screening to see if you have osteopenia or osteoporosis. And there are some other screening guidelines too if you hit early menopause. So if you hit menopause even by like 40 years old, 50 years old, as soon as you get that diagnosis of menopause, it's absolutely recommended to go ahead and start with getting a DEXA scan to see. Other conditions, if you have to take steroids for a really long time, if you have autoimmune conditions, chronic kidney disease, those things would lead to getting screened earlier than that 65 years cutoff.
Gotcha. So how much calcium and vitamin D do people really need, and should some people take supplements?
Yeah, ideally for the general population, it's going to be getting calcium and vitamin D from diet. Vitamin D, we live in a beautiful area, and so spending at least 30 minutes to an hour in sunlight can help with vitamin D stores. But if you need to supplement, It's generally recommended for calcium about 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams daily, and then for vitamin D, 600 to 700 international units daily.
Okay. Can osteoporosis be prevented, and what can we start doing now to protect our bones?
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest things is, easy things to just not do. Smoking is a very, very common cause of weakening bones. Excessive alcohol use can also lead to an increased risk of osteopenia and osteoporosis. And weight-bearing exercises, jogging, and I'm not talking Olympic lifts by any means, but jogging, walking, those things, any sort of like weight-bearing impact on your skeletal system will help your body build bones. And a lot of your peak bone mass is going to be when you're in your 20s to 30s. And so making sure you do that early on can help set you up for success later down the road.
Okay. So when should a person get screened, and what does that bone density test look like?
Yeah, and so as I mentioned before, women over the age of 65 or women who have hit menopause if it's before the age of 65, if you have a fracture and let's say it's what we call a low impact fracture, like maybe you just tripped down one step instead of multiple steps and then you have a fracture or multiple fractures, then that should clue in a physician to see maybe the incident did not cause all of these fractures to happen, and then you would need to get screened. Chronic corticosteroid use, if you're on prednisone for a really long time, that can also lead to weakening of your bones. And a DEXA scan, essentially, it's a big table that you lay on, and it uses little to no radiation, and it's an X-ray scan, and it goes over your body, and then it just traces your bone density, and it compares yours to that of a healthy person of a similar age.
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad.
No, not at all.
So who's at risk of osteoporosis, and what are the main risk factors? I know you went over some of these.
So risk is going to be women more than men, however men still are at risk for it. Lower weight individuals, like if your BMI is under 20, that can put you at an increased risk. If you have first degree relatives that have had either like a hip fracture, femur fracture, or if they have osteoporosis or osteopenia, then that can also put you at an increased risk as well.
And what is the difference between osteopenia and osteoporosis?
Yeah, I know that they can sound pretty similar, but I feel like most people know or have heard the term prediabetes or prehypertension, and osteopenia is kind of like a pre-osteoporosis. You're at a stage where, yes, we see that your bones are a little bit on the weaker side, but you're at a point where there are interventions that we can do to prevent you from developing osteoporosis. And osteoporosis is when we look at your bone mass and we see that you have pores in your bone and that your bone is just very, very weak. And so that's why finding if you have osteopenia is very important, because there are, again, many things that we can do to help prevent you from developing osteoporosis.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing this information with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned. We're shining a light on emergency preparedness with our local power company. Up next.
Navigating healthcare is hard. Baptist makes it better. With convenient locations, easy scheduling, and skilled, compassionate doctors, all when you need us most. The next time you need care, let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
The Reesburg Institute, Pensacola's ear, nose, throat, and voice center. We welcome you to visit us at our convenient Davis Highway location in Pensacola. At the Reesburg Institute, we offer the most advanced treatment available in a calm, stress-free environment. Since 2014, we've performed over 1,000 cases in office of balloon sinus surgery, as well as septoplasty and nasal procedures using oral sedation. The in-office procedures result in a faster healing time. Visit us and feel the difference.
Animal Allies is looking for volunteers, and there are many ways that you can help. From taking care of cats to using your computer and social media skills, any and all assistance is greatly appreciated. We have morning and afternoon shifts every day or help at adoption events. You can even foster a kitty at home. And it counts towards community service hours for bright futures. Find Animal Allies Florida on Facebook and Instagram, or go to aaflorida.org/volunteer.
Keeping your family healthy can be complicated. Baptist makes it better with trusted primary care doctors for the whole family and trusted specialists at convenient locations throughout the region ready to care for you. All when you need us most. Let Baptist make it better. Baptist Healthcare.
Hurricane season is underway, but Florida Power & Light has been busy preparing and helping the community plan for a safe storm season. We've got Sarah Gatewood here to tell us more about how FPL customers stay ready for power emergencies, as well as resources available that may be helpful for older adults in particular. Thanks for joining me today, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having us.
So, with hurricane season here, what is FPL doing to help communities prepare?
Well, we know that hurricane season is right upon us, and what we ask customers to do now, what everyone should do now, is prepare. You know, we prepare year-round so that when storms come our way, we are ready to respond and get the lights back on as quickly as possible. But part of that is doing work before the storms come to get ready. So that's making investments in the grid to make it stronger and more resilient. So no system can be storm-proof. We know that there will be impacts from a storm, so we can make investments now, though, to make it recover more quickly.
Absolutely. And what are some of the storm preparedness tips that you would give to seniors specifically?
Well, again, right now is the time to prepare. So particularly for seniors, we would recommend putting that plan together of what you're going to do if a storm comes our way. So are you planning to stay in place, look for shelter, or evacuate, so that way you can get whatever you need to be successful, especially if you're on medical equipment that depends on electricity to be powered. Make sure that you know, am I going to have a generator? Am I going to find a shelter that has power? All of those things so that you can keep safe if a hurricane were to come our way. And then getting those supplies in place, making sure you have all the supplies you need. Do you have a plan for your pet if you have a pet? And then if you or a loved one is in like a senior care facility, making sure that you know what their plan is to keep their residents safe.
That's a good point, because you can stay engaged with what that plan is, even though you're in a facility that obviously has a plan of their own. Well, we should hope.
Absolutely.
So we recently worked together on an effort to distribute emergency shelf-stable meal kits for some older adults, our clients. So why is that sort of thing important for FPL to take part in?
Sure. So at FPL, while keeping the lights on is our job, being invested and being a part of the communities we serve is our passion. And so we partner with you guys, Council on Aging, and really Council on Agings all over the state of Florida to make sure that seniors are prepared with some of those supplies that they would need if a storm comes. So we have 3 days worth of shelf-stable food and water that we work through our partners to help distribute to some of the more vulnerable senior populations. There are so many seniors and others that are food insecure, and so this is one way to take one worry off of their plate if a storm is coming.
Yep, absolutely, and that's something especially for our homebound clients that they really need to have. What are some tips seniors can use to be just more energy efficient in general and manage their power usage?
Absolutely. Well, summer is here, so we know that it's getting warmer, and so that may drive more people to turn on their air conditioner. So heating and air conditioning are some of the biggest drivers of your energy use and your bill. So we recommend keeping the air conditioner between 74 to 78 degrees, but we know that's not always comfortable. So really picking that temperature that's comfortable for you, but knowing that every degree you can move it up saves you about 3 to 5% on cooling costs.
Gotcha. And what are some of the programs or initiatives you have that might be helpful for older adults?
One of our programs that we promote for everyone, not just older adults, is budget billing. So this is a great program, if you haven't taken advantage of it, that helps stabilize your energy costs throughout the year. So while you might see higher usage in the summer or the winter, it really stabilizes those costs so that you pay a consistent amount throughout the year. And that really helps for those that are on a fixed income, or it's more difficult to be able to pay different spikes in the bill. Other things is, please reach out to us if you ever are struggling to pay your bill at fpl.com/help. There are lots of federal and even programs funded through FPL and our customers and shareholders that can help with bill assistance if that becomes a struggle.
So don't let it get to that point where you're getting that cutoff notice. Like, call and address it.
Absolutely. We can get ahead of it. We can get payment arrangements, payment plans, and find some of that assistance before you get behind.
And what are some other things you have that our older adult community might need that they don't know about?
We do have a newer program called FPL Saving Steps that can kind of help guide you through some of the things that you can do to save energy, and in return you can get a bill credit. So that's a great program that's new for customers to look at. And then again, just now's the time to prepare for storms. So please take our look at our resources at fpl.com/storm. We have a resource guide up there specifically for seniors to help think through and get your plan in place so that hopefully we don't see a storm, but if we do, you are ready.
And what are some of the things in that guide, some of the resources that you're pointing people toward?
In addition to looking at where our shelters are, making sure you have medications that are ready. Sometimes we might have medications that we need to have on hand, so making sure that you've thought that through, you've got a supply ready so that if a storm does come, you won't have any interruption in the medicines that keep you safe.
Gotcha. And anything else you want to add about just storm preparedness for the community?
I think for us, again, now's the time to prepare. Make sure that you know where your home is in relation to flood zones, where the shelters are closest to you. If you have a pet, making sure you've thought through the plans for that pet. That's something that we've learned over the years can be overlooked.
Absolutely.
And then finally, if you do decide to use a generator, making sure you know how to use it safely to keep you, your family, and then our line workers safe.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing this with us, Sarah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Up next, we're getting out the vote with our Escambia County Supervisor of Elections. Stay with us.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
¿Qué color? Perfecto, amigo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
It's an election year, and August primaries are right around the corner, with November general elections close behind. If you have questions about important upcoming dates, how to check your registration, or even how to get registered to vote, we've got answers. With us today is Escambia County Supervisor of Elections, Robert Bender, to give us the details. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. So tell me about your role as the Supervisor of Elections.
So it is an appointed position, and there's one for every county in the state. So there's 66 other supervisors of elections around the state of Florida, and we're all responsible for conducting the elections in that county. So I have Escambia County, so we have 80 precincts, and it will be 69 locations this year, and then also doing the vote by mail, making sure everything's safe, accurate, and secure, and that people get to vote.
Okay, what are the important upcoming dates for voters?
So we have a couple ones. The first one's for the August election, the August primary, August 18th, is a registration deadline. So the deadline to register is July 20th or to make a party change. And then the deadline to request a vote by mail is August 6th. Of course, we also for the general election, it doesn't matter as much about party preference because Florida's a closed primary. And so you can only vote in the primary, get a ballot for the party in which you are registered. But for the November election, everybody gets the same ballot. So the deadline to register is 29 days before the election, and then request that vote by mail August 6th. We'll have early voting August 8th through the 15th. We'll have 10 locations around the county that you can go to any one of the 10. It'll be open from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And then election day is August 18th.
And if someone isn't registered to vote, how can they get registered?
Sure, we do a lot of outreach and try to get people registered, but if you're just sitting at home, you can go to our website, escambiavotes.gov, do an online voter registration system. A lot of people also do it when they go and change their driver's license or go through the DHSMV. There's an option where they can update their information. We recommend you updating your information when you go get a new driver's license or identification card, just so that number gets transferred. We use it to validate your identity when you call into the office. So it's easy to do online. We have paper forms available in our office. Also, libraries will have paper forms available if you want to go to those areas. And so it's available online or in our office.
So lots of different ways to get
yes.
registered. And what if someone wants to check the status of their registration, if they're not sure or they just want to confirm?
Sure. Again, we're happy to help if they call our office. They can call us 850-595-3900. There is also a way to go onto our website and check. Again, escambiavotes.gov. That gov is an official government website. And you can check on the Am I Registered? So when you do that, you'll actually have a lot of information that you're able to find in that status. One, you can see if you're registered, what your party affiliation is, your precinct where you would vote on election day, if you have a vote by mail request on file, and then right now we've been able to post the sample ballots. So you'll be able to go to that and actually look at your sample ballots. We will have sample ballots will be mailed to everyone who does not have a vote by mail request on file, mailed or emailed, and we'll do that a little bit before early voting begins.
Perfect. So what if someone does want to vote by mail? So what do they need to do?
Sure, I think it's important to know that the vote by mail, all those requests were reset after the 24 general election as under Florida law. So we have mailed out notices to people that were previously registered for vote by mail to let them know that their vote by mail has expired. But again, you can go to our website or call our office. They will ask you for your driver's license number or the last four of your social to verify your identity when you make that request. And then we're actually, these ballots are going out now. So they'll be put in the mail and delivered, and then the voter has that time to do it. The important thing is also to remember that we have to have the ballot in our possession by 7 p.m. on election day, so either mail it in plenty of time to get it to our office, postage is paid, so they don't have to find a stamp, or they can drop it off at one of our secure ballot intake stations at any one of our 10 early vote sites.
Gotcha. So election security has been a big topic. Tell us about the security measures for voting in Escambia County.
Of course, making sure that we do those safe, secure, accurate elections is always important. We've taken a lot of steps to improve that. I'd say the state of Florida has continued to make improvements since the 2000 incident. And so things like requiring driver's license or Social Security when you make that request for the ballot. The equipment that we use has all gone through rigorous testing to Florida standards in order for us to be able to do it. We've instituted an independent automated audit, which looks at 100% of the ballots, 100% of the races, comparing those results to the tabulated results to see if there's any differences. We had over a 99.99% accuracy in the 24 election cycles. So again, to show how accurate the results are. We also have a lot of redundancies in place and things like that, so that, like a number of our equipment's not connected to the internet. So people aren't able to hack in. And then again, if we were just talking about power and the storms and everything, we have it to where if the power goes out in a precinct, we have the backup and systems in place to be able to still allow voters to vote. So, we take all these different steps to make sure things are secure. A lot of what we do is that we make sure that we have members from two different parties. So if you go to the polls and need assistance in voting, An election worker can help you, but it would be members from 2 different parties that would assist that voter. If you need assistance in voting when coming to the elections, coming to the polling sites, you can also bring someone to help you. They'll fill out a form, the assistance form. But again, everything that we do is just make sure that it's apolitical and that there is that safety and security.
Absolutely. It sounds like there's a lot of myths, there's a lot of controversy drummed up about this sort of thing, but it seems fairly straightforward. We have the security measures. You can check everything on the website. I was looking through the website and just looking at the demographics and from the last few elections, there's a lot of information there.
There is, of course, a lot of it we're required to put, but when you talk about transparency is another security measure. So all of our meetings where we're opening the vote by mail ballots are open to the public to come observe us. All of our meetings that we advertise those meetings, and when we certify the results, people can come watch. And so having that transparency is part of our security measures as well.
Absolutely. And anything else you want to add about the voting process or getting ready for this season?
Well, I think as you talk about, there are a lot of these myths and other things that are out there. So we would say if you hear something, don't hesitate to contact us and make sure that we can verify that information. We want to make sure that you're getting information, that you're not continuing to spread false information. And so, again, call our office to see. We are doing more with our social media presence. We're trying to get more advertising out there so that people are able to see the dates that are coming up. A reminder that, and I think it's important to talk about, the August 18th election. It is the primary election, but there will be final decisions that are made during this election. So the school board races, we have districts 1, 2, and 3, have 2 members and 2 candidates in each of those races. So those will be decided in the August election, along with the countywide referendum. So everyone has something to vote on this August.
Absolutely. So we just want to get more people out, more voters out voting for that August election and that November election.
Yes, your voice is your vote.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. Until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.